Filipino moms somehow all say the exact same thing, and nobody really knows why. Today, I'm gonna explain exactly why. Different houses, different countries, and different personalities. But somehow, every single Filipino kid grows up hearing, Kaka cellphone mo yan, or Kumain ka na, or Patayin mo yung ilaw, or the classic, Mag-jacket ka, even when it's 34 degrees Celsius outside, diba? And if you didn't grow up around Filipino moms, then some of these things may seem completely random to you. But I'm here to explain exactly what it means and tell you that it's actually a sign of love. And after living here in the Philippines for long enough, you start to realize that this is a big part of Filipino culture. I'm Christian, and I'm half American, half Filipino, and I live here in the Philippines with my Filipino family. So this isn't something that I learned on one short trip. This is everyday life for me now. And one thing I realized quickly living here in the Philippines is every Filipino mom thinks they know exactly why something happened. And usually they do. If you have a headache, Kaka cellphone mo yan. Or, that's because you're always on your cell phone. If your eyes are hurting, Kaka cellphone mo yan. If you can't sleep, Kaka cellphone mo yan. At this point, you realize that Filipino moms think cell phones cause everything. From lack of sleep, if your eyes hurt, if you're hungry, if you get sick, cellphone mo yan. And somehow, they say it with so much confidence. And it makes you actually start to believe it too. And also, Filipino moms love to remind you how expensive electricity is. And if you happen to make the deadly mistake of leaving one light on in the house, patayin mo yung ilaw. Or turn off the lights because it's so expensive. Or if you leave the electric fan on when you leave the room, akala mo pinapulot lang pera. Do you think we just find money lying on the ground? Or if you're from America, it's like, do you think money grows on trees? Similar. That makes me convinced that Filipino kids learn about electricity bills before they learn algebra in school. And another classic Filipino mom line is, Hindi ako tumatai ang pera. Or in English, do you think I shit money? That line alone probably ended tons of childhood arguments. And somehow, Filipino moms can just mention your full government name and your heart rate immediately changes. You just know you're in trouble. And if you hear, Pag ako nawala, what's gonna happen if I'm gone, huh? Immediate fear. Filipino moms are so dramatic, but they're loving at the same exact time. But the biggest thing that I noticed is how much Filipino moms show love through worrying. And that's really what a lot of these phrases are. It's really concern disguised as scolding. And even food becomes a part of it. You could literally be chewing on your last piece of food, and a Filipino mom will ask, Kaon na ka? Or did you eat? Like somehow there's always room for more rice or something. And if you say you're busug or full, that usually just starts the negotiations. Gamay ra lagi kaayo imong kaon. Or your food was just small, you didn't eat enough. Kuha pa gamay. Eat just a little bit more. O sana lang? Just one more bite? Filipino moms refuse to lose food battles. And one of my favorite memories with Steph, or Akongosawa's mom, was about rice too. She would always notice if I barely put any rice on my plate. Not even in like a judgmental kind of way, but really it was like genuine concern. I remember I told her one time I was fasting, I was on a diet, and she looked at me so seriously, dead serious, and said, Di ka mabusugan na, or you're not gonna get full just eating that. And then she quietly added more rice to my plate. And that was just how she loved people. Making sure everybody ate, making sure nobody left hungry. And another thing I respected about Steph's mom was how strong she was. My kids called her Mamila. And she was a single mom raising 5 kids while also building a business and working in showbiz here in Cebu. She ran her own talent agency here, where she worked with big artista here in the Philippines. And somehow she still managed to carry that very Filipino mom energy every single day. Always checking if everybody ate, always worrying about everybody, and especially always making sure the family was okay. And that's admirable if you ask me. And one other thing that she cared about was making sure we looked presentable every day, especially because of the work we do in content creation and showbiz here in the Philippines. So before we even began filming, she would notice small things immediately. Taro nga imong buhok, or fix your hair, or ilisa na imong shirt, or change your shirt. Or she'd tell Steph, my wife, pag lipstick gamay, you always have to be presentable. And that wasn't because she was judgmental, but because she genuinely wanted us to do well. She understood presentation, just like a lot of Filipino moms here. And I'm always reminded how she wanted the best for us and all the lessons she gave, and will forever be appreciative. Because Filipino moms carry so much mentally every single day. Bills, work, kids, problems, and the whole family's set of emotions. And still, they somehow find the time to make sure everybody ate. And that's honestly superhero behavior. And of course, Steph started to do that to me now too. I'll literally be editing videos peacefully, trying to focus, and suddenly she walks behind me and says, "Dugay na ka sige cellphone," or "You've been on your cell phone too long." And then before she leaves the room, she says, "Nakaon na ka? Did you eat?" That's to be expected, right? She's a Filipino mom. Like, Filipino moms never just leave the room with only saying one thing, right? And I can't forget to mention if guests are coming to the house. Oh man, it's a different story. When guests are coming, the whole house suddenly becomes a cleaning competition, and suddenly everybody has assignments. Homework. Everybody's wiping tables. Everybody's doing dishes. Somebody's hiding random things. And you somehow end up cleaning a place in the house that nobody's even seen for years. I remember helping clean before guests arrived one time, and I was genuinely confused why we were all cleaning behind the appliances. Like, respectfully, the visitors aren't inspecting what's underneath the refrigerator, diba? But Filipino moms think guests notice everything. And then somehow, in the middle of the panic clean, you hear the legendary line, "Ano na lang sasabihin nila?" Or, "What will they say?" Which really means, what will they say if they see all this mess? And that sentence alone probably traumatized an entire generation. Another thing the older generation of Filipinos love talking about is finding a good wife. I remember akong lola, or my lola, my grandmother, telling me, "Pangita ug nice Filipino wife. Find yourself a nice Filipino wife." And at the time, I just laughed like, "Yeah, okay, Lola." Then she would say, "Filipino wives take care of their family with their whole hearts." And then I started to listen, because she would say they're very caring, they're very loyal, and they're very family oriented, which were the exact kind of things I was looking for in a wife. And it just so happens that years later, I ended up marrying my Filipino wife, Stephanie. Suerte ko kaayo, or I'm very lucky. So apparently, my Lola knew what she was talking about the whole time, diba? And a lot of these things felt funny to me and unexpected at first. But over time, they all started to give me a feeling of comfort instead. Because eventually you realize Filipino moms carry everybody mentally all the time. Who ate already? Who looks tired? Who might get sick? And who needs something? They're constantly thinking about other people, even in small ways. And sometimes, yeah, it might come out as nagjacket ka, or kaon na ka, or ayaw sige cellphone. But underneath all of it, it usually means I care about you. And those are the things that people usually miss when they move far away from home. It's not even the exact words that you miss, honestly. It's the feeling that somebody was always there checking on you. You had somebody to run to, right? And I want to just say happy late Mother's Day to all the great moms out there, especially to all the Filipino moms who have spent years worrying about others more than themselves. You're the ones truly carrying your families on your back, while still finding ways to love everybody loudly every single day. And happy Mother's Day to my asawa, my wife, Steph. Gihigumatika, I love you. The moms constantly saying, "Kaon na ka? Magjacket ka? Ayaw sige cellphone." Even if it sometimes sounded like scolding, a lot of us eventually realized it was love the whole time. So now whenever I hear a Filipino mom saying any of those things, I hear them differently now. It's not just random phrases, but it's a really Filipino way of showing love. If you grew up in the Philippines or are a Filipino abroad, what's the most Filipino mom phrase you've ever heard? Because there are so many lines people hear constantly every day without realizing how uniquely Filipino it really is. And if you've experienced this too, drop a comment telling me your experience. I'm definitely going to reply. And I'm breaking down more moments like this, small things about Filipino and Western culture that people don't always explain clearly. And we also make shorts too if you want to check those out. They're pretty funny. And if you made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this with everyone you know so this video can gain a little bit of traction. Daghan salamat, tiyo tanan. Amping mo.